All right, base running. Okay, I could do like the whole clinic on base running. This is my favorite part. And again, it goes back to the game being gray, all right? And we don't want robots. So no robots. We want gray. We want outside the box thinking. So here's where you guys can get instantly better without becoming faster, stronger, without lifting another weight. Base running is where you can change not only your game, but your team. It's contagious, right? I really believe about 10% of the games in your season are won and lost by base running. Either poor base running lost you a game, right? Or good base running won you the game. So make sure you guys are practicing this, because I know you all believe in base running and you believe that it's important and effective, but I don't know that you're practicing it enough, okay? So we did a drill, and I think a lot of you guys were there, for the 3-person base running drill. That's actually, it's on a few pages later. It's like Coach Welsh's favorite drills, because I'll have people like text me. You guys can all do text, email me. Hey, I need a drill for this. Hey, I've got a girl doing this. Just ask. Well, I started getting that a lot, so I ended up saving, instead of like typing out everything over and over, I kept just saving it. Like, okay, here's 4 of my drills, and people say, hey, give me a drill. Actually, one of my former players just texted me this week, hey coach, I'm coaching in high school again, but for some reason I can't remember a thing, you know. So so they're written down there, but make sure you guys not only practice base running, but practice it in live situations and encourage being aggressive, okay? Especially the travel ball level, as much as you guys want to win, I get that, but for the most part, I can't tell you my travel ball record when I played, 18 under, like, let's just get the girls better. So if they get out and we lose the game, it's okay, all right? We can't be that coach that's so mad about that when it's like, it really is just a game, okay? Now it's a game that we all love, and we would take it seriously. So I'm not saying, hey, just run wherever, it's just a game, who cares? But what I'm saying is, I've seen too many coaches get so mad at people for getting out, so the girl will never run again. She'll never push it again, ever again, okay? And that's why my one girl stopped at third to check when she's got a person right in front of her waving her home, and she still stopped. We've got to practice. Maybe we could have practiced that scenario a little bit more. So make sure you guys are practicing it. Make sure you're practicing their leadoffs, their rounding, the littlest things, okay? Whatever you guys make important and what you stress, they'll know is important. So if you want it to be a priority, you gotta teach it over and over, okay? So one thing that I'm doing with my group this year, because like I told you, it's a new group. I brought in some recruits, but I kind of inherited it. We kind of have just an eclectic group. It's good, I'm excited about it. What I've been thinking is, I can't teach 30 things. I'm not gonna try to teach 30 things. We're gonna be great at like 5 things. We're gonna be great at it. Not just good at 15, teach 30. We're gonna just focus, and it might get a little more, we're doing this again, but we are gonna beat teams because we're really good at like 5 things, okay? And the other things will fall into place. But base running is going to be one of those things, and that's in our control, okay? I can't just all of a sudden get 4 more miles an hour on each of my pitchers. That would be awesome, but that's not realistic. So my pitchers, I'm gonna get them as good as I can, but let's control what we can control. And so base running is where I feel we're gonna really focus on, okay? A little bit of the mental stuff too that we talked about earlier is another thing that I'm gonna focus on, and then we'll do a little bit of fielding stuff, but the reality is, every team in the country fields between 920 and 960. Yes, a few errors can lose us a ball game here and there, but if we do 30 more hours of defense, it's not gonna get us feeling 40 points higher. So I'm trying to put my focus on pitch calling, base running, okay, and the little things, a few of the little things. So make sure though, if you guys do feel this is a big deal, that you're focusing on it, okay? The same with bunting, all right? So maybe you start every practice with base running, or maybe you end the practice with base running, and that's conditioning. I think we talked about that. So we talked about how you guys do conditioning in your practices. Okay, who likes conditioning? Cross-country runners, right? Softball players, we hit and we eat, you know what I mean? Like, we don't run. So why not make your conditioning a running drill? Base running practice. I mean, even if it's a boring drill, even if it's, hey, everybody's at home plate, you're gonna run, work on first, and then get in line, okay, go to first to third, okay, score and a tag up, but at least it's better than just like sprinting and touching a line, okay? I will tell you, anytime you can make conditioning fun, they will forget about that they're even doing it. Any sport you go to coach, any sport you go to do, even in basketball, you have to get in shape for basketball, but man, at least put a ball in their hand, make it more fun, at least, somehow make it a competition, that kind of thing. So if you can make conditioning more of a base running drill, that would help. But then also, don't make it to where base running is, base running, because it's a drill. You know what I'm saying? So try to do some fun base running drills, so that it's conditioning and learning. Okay? Work on your leadoffs, work on rounding, work on different situations. Okay? A drill that I would do when we're doing some conditioning is I'd station coaches random kind of out, and I would whistle like that. And whenever I whistled, they had to turn and look at another coach. The coach had a number in their hand, and they had to say it, just to get the girl working on, like, looking, and because everybody says when you hit the ball, you run, don't look at the ball. No, I want you to look at the ball, because what if the ball is in the 5-6 hole and I can round it and take a big lead off first? I believe that you can sprint and look and not lose speed, but I also practice it. We practice it, okay? So you might have them start down there, and it's just a straight line, but just whistle, and they got 3, you gotta run 4, boom, 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 stuff like that, okay? Teach them head on a swivel, okay? Practice base running. Knowing it and doing it are two different things. That's good. So make sure we're doing it. Practice sliding. If you guys are not good at sliding, a couple of things. I'd have them put 4 layers of sweatpants on, put some cardboard down, and shoes off, and just do it that way. Okay. Slip and slide is a really good way as well. Also, if there is a light drizzle out there and they can get in their stuff, I'm telling you, the grass is perfect for that, turf is perfect for that, and have them work on stuff. So if you one thing that would frustrate me is when kids wouldn't dive for balls. Like if you don't dive, that frustrated me because I was like, why wouldn't you at least try? And I realized that kids don't know how to dive or were scared. Okay. So the reality is, if a kid is scared, you can't just make them do something. They're probably going to go at it not as hard, and they're probably going to get injured. So let's take away whatever they're afraid of. They're afraid of hurting themselves. So I would do I do diving drills on my knees, okay? So instead of standing up and sprinting, it's like if you're the coach, you would just toss me balls here. And remember this, whenever we're working on diving, stretch them out, okay? Because if you throw the ball, can you see me?
Yep. Yeah.
If you throw the ball too short, I'm not really working on diving, okay? So your goal as a coach is to actually have me throw where that outlet is, and I don't need to catch it, I just need to work on it. So I need to work on the dive, okay? And get them working both ways. 2 things with diving, okay? Two big things. Make sure they turn in the air. You can't have side divers, okay? 1, you're not gonna be able to make the play, and 2, injury, high risk injury, right? They've gotta turn in the air and dive, okay? The other thing is they have to stiff arm, or Superman. Okay? If they don't, odds are their momentum from running is going to carry their body weight over their hands. I've only broken 1 bone in my body. It's this one from a dive that I rolled over. Had three players, same thing. Okay? It's pretty common to roll over your glove if you don't stiff arm. Right? Think about your momentum. You're going, right? So you've got to stiff arm. So what I have my campers do, my girls, okay, here. Right? And even if they don't land like this, they'll say if they, they're like, oh, sorry. Right? I make them finish here, hold it, and get used to that. Okay? So that could be a fun drill at the end of every practice or at the beginning. Okay? One of my travel ball teams, I was 16 and under, and we were just like energetic, feisty, pre-game, after our grounders, after everything. So we had our line grounder, we're almost done. We would get this close to our coach, and he would throw us a ball, and we would dive, we'd get up, and we'd dive. So we're covered in dirt. Our team is like, yeah, let's go. Every opponent stopped what they were doing and just watched. Because it was cool to watch. It was like, that team, that's crazy. But think about that. Now my team, we were like, yeah, here we go. We were just pumped up, okay? So incorporate that kind of stuff. We just expect, you should be able to dive. Well, if they were never taught, I dove at 2, so I don't even remember. I just dove. I don't mind diving right now. I'm older, but you got to realize, our kids are not us. So let's inspire, let's teach that, let's get that going. So then the progression, after they feel good on their knees going both ways, get them kind of in a low squat, and the same thing. Get them a little bit higher, same thing, then a couple of steps and go. All right? But not until they're ready to progress. Ask them if they're ready. Okay? Don't ever make them, be ready. The other thing is, we don't need to use hard softballs. Use tennis balls. Use wiffle balls. Use socks. Doesn't even matter, right? Take away any fear. If they're still afraid of how hard this is, try to find somewhere that's more padded. Like I said, sweats, carpet, cardboard, something like that. Okay. Same thing with throwing. You ever seen like how the kid that kind of catches to the side because they're afraid of the ball? Take away the ball. With my kids, I used a rubber I got from like Walmart. Rubber, like Rawlings ball. Same weight, as pretty similar to a baseball. Small, because this was too big for my daughter. And we just played catch with that, and they learned. Yeah, a couple times they got hit, but it's almost like, whoa, and it's almost funny because it doesn't hurt. Where this sends you inside. Doesn't it send you inside, right? So take away the fear, so that way they can learn. That's real life, right? Or maybe with catcher, with blocking, if they're just afraid, use tennis balls, okay? Working on getting hit by a pitch, tennis balls. Yes, you should work on getting hit, work on that, right? How many times do you have a player jump out of the way and you're frustrated with them because they didn't get hit? How many times have you practiced them getting hit?
Never.
Oh! Okay, so I'll teach you the drill we do is called the turtle drill, okay? Because when you're done, you kind of look like a turtle. All right, so we take tennis balls. This will be fun for you guys because you can throw it at your girls. All right, but we actually work on learning to turn and absorb. Because if we just turn, it still hurts. So turn and absorb. That way, get your ribs out of there, get your hands out of there, and what's kind of cool too. It actually puts more of your back in, so you might actually get hit. So I'm cool with that. But we work on that, and we make it kind of fun. We take the fear away. We make it like, hey, this is normal. The ball's coming in, turn and get hit. It's a single, okay? So I would be afraid, if I've never worked on it, to get hit, with 60 miles an hour from this. But teach them that, hey, it actually doesn't hurt that bad, right? Start with tennis balls, start with some other things, okay? And celebrate the mess out of a hit by pitch. I mean, like, go nuts. Maybe even have, hey, Dairy Queen for any girl that gets hit by a pitch. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like something, because you want to make it to where it's not just good, I expected that, but this is amazing. So then another girl might go, I want Coach to act that way towards me. I'll take it. We have one girl on our team, hardest worker on the team, not the best skill set, but man, outworks everybody, but she got hit a lot in the fall. I'm like, listen, that could be a good role for you. And if you go on the NAI website, I actually have the leader in career or single season hit by pitches from my last school. She wasn't afraid. Now she'll even tell you, she goes, I wasn't trying to get hit, but I wasn't afraid to get hit. She got hit 4 times in one game, which is crazy to me because the pitcher was so mad. Get her off my plate. She's on my plate. Stop throwing inside. Okay? Yes, she was on your plate, but the girl kept throwing there, and my girl just kept getting hit. 4 singles. We won the game, And here's the other thing. So pitchers, this is a side note. So pitchers, what you need to do is you need to ask your hitters, what do you hate? Okay, so Avery, what do you hate when pitchers do, like throw a changeup, throw a rise ball, inside out? Like what pitches and locations you hate?
Rise ball.
You hate the rise ball. Anything else? Or
Just rise ball.
Okay, so she hates the rise ball. Tell me your first name again. Freya. What do you hate when it comes to hitting?
Changeup.
Hate the changeup. Pretty common. What about inside? You okay with inside? Okay, just hate the changeup. Okay, who hates inside? Okay, you hate inside, right? So pitchers, make sure you're talking to them. Let's see. We hate in, change, and rise. 3 really good pitches, right? So make sure we're like asking so that we can throw that. So pitchers, Madison, what do you hate when hitters do? Crowd the plate?
Yeah.
What did you hate the most? Back in the box, up in the box, a little bit of swag.
I hate up in the box.
You hate up in the box.
Yeah.
Okay? So here's the thing. So hitters, let's do what they hate. You hated people crowding your plate, right? I would hate that as a pitcher. Guess what? If my hitters, besides my slappers, these two are slappers. I don't necessarily want them crowding. Okay. Coach, how many times do you think I talked about like crowding and getting hit? We talk about it a lot, right? So here's the thing. I'm longing for my players to kind of have that mentality of like, you know what? I'm gonna crowd. The pitcher's gonna hate it. I might get hit a little bit, but this is gonna be to my advantage. Because think about it. Now when you crowd, she's tipped. Okay. You know that if you don't have 2 strikes, I would take this pitch. You know it's gonna be a strike. I would take this. Then when you get 2 strikes, you gotta defend it, right? But think about it. A pitcher is either gonna throw it in and potentially hit you for a single, okay? Or she's gonna have to throw here, and now look at what the outside pitch is. Down the middle to me. So if I'm back here, now I've got to protect here, here, and here. This just got a little bit easier, and she hates it. So she's either going to miss big, because even think about it, if I'm calling pitches against you, what stinks is the outside curveball, the outside drop ball is a strike. Like it's a down the middle strike to her. So I'm going to kind of want to back you off. But then if I have a pitcher right now that doesn't love throwing into girls because she's afraid she's going to hit them. What does that do to her psyche? You know what I mean? So do I call it in? Well, no, she doesn't love it. You know, I better have a pitcher that can throw in and not miss. Like, do you see what all that? Do you see what that did? So if I could make my players all crowd, I would. But again, it comes back to feel. If I got a girl who was a good hitter and now she feels really uncomfortable, I'm not getting the best out of her. Okay? So what I'm trying to do though in practice is making sure they're working on that. Hey, crowd. I'm making sure my hitters in practice work on moving up. Because the worst is when they get used to that one spot. Hey, the game plan, hey, drop ball pitcher. We're all going to be up in the box. Hey, game plan. And they're like, oh, okay, I've never been up in the box. Or what about in the middle of the sequence? Hey, get up in the box on her. Okay, never done that once in my life. Let's make sure we're practicing it, okay? So make sure they practice up and ask them why. Or even ask them, say, hey, when would you be up? Like I'll ask you guys. Okay, we're facing a good rise ball. What would some strategies be?
Up in the box.
So up in the box. Why? Try to hit it before it rises. Okay. What if she's semi-wild? What could be another strategy? So that's one. That's a good strategy. That was right. What if she's a little wild? Maybe go back and take. We're making her bring it down, right? So really, if you're looking to take, if you're looking to hit, say she's a really good pitcher and she just gets ahead and doesn't walk anybody. Yep, let's get up here, let's attack it before. But you know what? So are you doing that? Have you guys ever, as coaches, I don't think there's probably stats on travel balls, that's a little tricky, but in college, I can print stats and I look at things that pop out. Oh, this pitcher has, she walks twice as many people as this. She has low walks, low strikeouts. What does that mean? A pitcher has low walks, low strikeouts. Yeah, she's gonna throw a lot of strikes. A lot of strikes that get hit. Okay? Oh, she's got this to that. Well, then we know the game plan. Hey, let's take it until we get a strike on this girl. She got a lot of walks and she has 15 hit by pitches. Hey, let's crowd. Hey, let's do this, right? Our game plan's different, but are you practicing that, or is it all of a sudden every day practice is the same? And then hey, it's the game day. Hey. And then you're almost too intense, and you're almost freaking them out. Hey, this pitcher, she's not that good. We can do this. It's like, coach, we've never practiced. You know what I mean? Like, if you've never practiced that, and all of a sudden you got this psycho coach who's like, this is what we got to do, but we've never practiced it. Just because coach set up in the box, it's hard. You know what I mean? So let's make sure we have some days in hitting practices. Hey guys, today, umpire has a super tight zone. The pitcher is pretty accurate. Okay, so now when you're 3-2, when you're working 3-2, okay, that borderline pitch you can take because you know you got a big zone or whatever we're working on, right? But do you ever work on tight zone and hitting? Do you ever work on a big zone? Sometimes we need to work on a big zone. Okay, I'm 0-0, but this guy has a big zone. Listen, if you got a guy with a big zone, you need to look to attack early. You don't want to get to 2 strikes because then you really got to swing at anything, right? So know that. If you've got a small zone, I can be more picky. What is she like? Does that make sense? But are we actually talking that through with our players? That's some of my favorite kind of talk. But I will tell you some of my favorite kind of players. I got some girls who don't want to have those conversations who just like, I don't even know what you're talking about, coach. And that's fine. I'm going to try to recruit players that want that, okay? But I love it when the girls are, hey, So what do you think? I mean, she's been thrown the outside. You think she's gonna stay there? Like she threw the other lefties in. Like what do you think? Those are my favorite. Let's think the game. Let's outthink her. And again, that's why I like the gray, because I believe, and you can't ever execute this, so I can't prove it. But if you give me 10 players and another coach the same exact 10 players, I'm gonna beat them 9 out of 10 times because of those little things. That's why I love the game. So let's make sure we're not taking that out of the game, and we're not just going, hey, grounders, hey, batting practice, all right, fly balls, okay, see you tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, again, 20 more fly balls may not make them a better outfielder, okay? It might be finding the fence, working at angles. It might be not even taking fly balls at all. It might be doing base running, you know what I mean? So if you told me I had to eliminate one thing from practice this whole spring, I might say, okay, it might be fly balls. Like it might be, you know what I mean? Because I'm just gonna go with, I hope they catch it. How many more fly balls do they need? What they need is specific fly balls. Maybe a ball with 2 outs winning run on third. Maybe a fly ball with 1 out winning run on third. Maybe a ball over their head. Maybe a ball in the sun. If you worked on sun, we worked on sun balls. That was really fun when we worked on sun balls. We had a scrimmage, but the game before us was running late. So I'm like, hey, the sun is out. Let's work on sun balls. Okay. So it's not that they needed more fly balls. They needed specific. Does that make sense? We almost don't need more of just the same. Okay. All right. I kind of got off my base running thing. I just want to do the very end. So, coaches, practice base running, sliding. Okay. Instill confidence. Know the rules and teach them to your players. Okay. So here's a tip. One thing that we do. We didn't do it as well this fall because again, we have just a lot of learning. We're taking it slow, but we'll add it this spring. So I took the rule book. So in NAIA, we follow the NCAA rule book, which, what are you guys in travel ball? Are you NCAA rule book or is it like an ASA rule book or whatever?
There's like 4 different ones.
It's crazy, right? So what I do is, you can download the rule book. I print it on normally the rule book is like the book that size, but I print it in regular size, hole punch, put it in a binder. Here's what we do. So we give it to a girl for the next practice. At the end of practice, we go through our news and notes. Hey, tomorrow we've got this. Hey, good job with this, blah, blah, blah. Hey, rule of the day. So then she would read the rule of the day. Hey, and it might be drop their strike. It might be something that we think is very simple, but then she would read it. She'd read the effect. So what would happen if that happens? And then anything else but that rule. Sometimes there's an awarded base. There's different things. Okay? And then we'd be done. If it was a confusing rule, then I would say, hey, what she was talking about, think about it this way. Okay, here's first. This is what it's talking about. And the girl's like, oh, okay, that makes sense, So then we take the rule book and we give it to somebody else. And then you'd read a rule, give it to the next practice. So what that's doing is it's kind of putting some ownership on the girls. And I tell them to learn something in their area. So like if they're pitchers, you should do something in the pitching rule book. If they're, like base running, do it in the base running. But what's cool about that is because as coaches, we assume people know the rules, but they don't. And sometimes as coaches, we don't know the rules, right? So a couple of things it does. It gets us understanding the rules, and then we get to take advantage of it. So there's ways to take advantage of the DP flex rule. There's ways to take advantage of the obstruction rule. There's ways to know the seconds for a pitcher, 5, 10, what is it? It could be rules on if the other team has an ineligible player. Well, there's sometimes you report it right away. There's sometimes you don't report it until they get on base or they make a play. Okay? So there's some ways you can report it. It doesn't hurt them at all. Or if you wait till they make a play, at my last school, we got a guy 4 times in 1 doubleheader. 4 times. And 3 of them, we ended up getting a better outcome. So it helped us 3 different times. His players were so mad. Coach, they didn't re-enter me, that kind of thing. So what I do as a head coach, if I subbed you, you and the sub have to both remind me, Coach, did you re-enter? Okay? Now odds are I did, but I need them reminding me just in case. Don't ever assume your coach re-entered you. Don't assume your coach entered you. Don't assume, okay? At the national tournament last year, so we had a board in our dugout talking about quality at bats, and whoever filled the lineup out switched 2 players because that was the lineup the last couple of games, but I changed it for this game. Well, they all paid attention to the board and not the book or the coach in the book. And the first time through, they batted out of order. Nobody caught it until the second time through, and then we caught it. But you got to know, the rules on that, what's going on, that kind of thing. So I would encourage you guys to, as coaches, know the rule book, because it doesn't look very good when you're arguing the wrong rule. Or if you're yelling, even if you're like, hey, the hands are part of the bat. That's not true, okay? That's a hit by pitch, okay? They're not part of the bat. Or it could be maybe the infield fly rule. Like, you're going to lose some, confidence in people that are playing for you, or their parents are paying a lot of money for you to coach them when you're kind of not knowing what's going on, right? So know the rules, know how they can help you to your advantage and stuff like that, okay? I put steal more. All your players have to do is run and slide. Defense is so much harder to worry about. And then no one teach the rules. One thing that I taught these girls at the clinic was make sure every leadoff, you make it look like you're stealing, okay? So one of my favorite things to do is pick the other team's signs and to outthink them when something's happening. So if I know they're stealing, I pitch out. I love throwing them out and pitch out. It just is awesome, right? I love it. So many runners, they just do their regular, lead off, and then I'm watching the coach. He gives signs. He didn't give signs for 3 times, and all of a sudden he's giving signs. She taps her helmet, and she gets more down into her sprinter start. She's going, you know what I mean? Like, thank you. Now we do need to execute, but at least I know she's going. So make sure you're not that coach that does that. You're not the coach that if you are doing the wristbands, make sure you don't only give signs when there's something on. I played against, in college, coaches that only set a number when something was on. Sweet, either bunting, hitting, you know what I mean? So make sure every leadoff, okay, makes it look like they're stealing, okay? That way you've got everybody yell going, you got the shortstop vacating, you got the catcher not framing, and then it opens that door for when you do want to go. Plus it just causes havoc. No shortstop likes that, no pitcher catcher likes that. It just causes havoc. And you don't even have to be stealing. You could never steal for the rest of your life. If every leadoff is here, okay, you are getting in their heads and you're opening up the steal for your teammates and stuff like that. So you got to practice that though. Are we practicing it? All right. One thing that I like to do too is I like to videotape their leadoffs. So there's a free app, Huddle Technique, HUDL Technique. Okay, free. You can videotape pitchers, hitters, anything, golf, whatever. You can slow-mo it frame by frame. You can email it to the person. You can draw lines. I can hit the microphone and I can talk through it like, hey, you notice your stride, blah, blah, blah. I can email it to the girl who goes, another country if I wanted to. But what I do is I videotape from the third base area, have videotape so you can see the pitcher and the girl leading off. I have them do 3 in front and 3 rocker. Most girls rock nowadays, but I have them do in front. And then I go to the slow-mo and I show them. So look at, she's releasing the ball here and your foot's still on the bag. So I can teach. Like, everybody wants to do rocker because they think that's always faster, but it's not faster if you're here when the ball is released, right? We need to be here, okay? So then, just teach them how to get, better, stuff like that. Because here's the thing. That is in your control to kind of fix, to kind of work on, and kind of teach. Again, you can't make that girl a second faster, but if you can get her jump better, that could be the difference. Her getting first or third, her scoring, that kind of thing. So don't be afraid to use video as well. And a lot of kids, they hear what you're saying. Hey, you're dropping your hands. Hey, your arm is coming off, show them. Because they hear you and they think they're fixing it. They're not trying to be disobedient. They're not trying to be uncoachable. But I've physically shown girls, I'm like, oh, that's what I'm doing? Yeah, I told you 20 times. You know what I mean? But sometimes I'm a visual learner. You just gotta show them. So don't be afraid to show them. Pitching lessons from the front, side, hitters, bunter, leadoffs, kind of thing. Lead off them actually stealing, and then leading off and say, look at how much faster. Look at you're this much further on a steal, so therefore your leadoffs aren't looking the same. You know what I mean? So don't be afraid. Now that's where the fun part of coaching is, and you don't have to do that in the 2 hours you have practice. Because some of you guys only practice once a week. Do that on your own time. Then when you get back to practice, you can do it real quick, right? We don't want to take their time when it can be stuff that we're doing on our own. Get better at it, or even text them before, but hey, in an hour we're going to work on this, look at this, you're a step slow, blah, 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 right? So the more you put into it, the more you'll get out of it, right? I do want to talk about practice planning, and then we're going to go back to the other stuff. So go to, it's about 6 more pages, and you'll see it says Arizona Christian University Softball on top, Tuesday, October 23rd. And I put 4 practice plans, 4 samples, okay? Front and back of the next 2 pages. So I don't know if you coaches are doing practice plans, but if you are not, you need to start. That's really not an option, okay? And here's some things. Here's some keys to practice planning, okay? I don't care if you're coaching 10-year-olds, 18-year-olds, it doesn't matter, okay? You need to have a practice plan because the more prepared you are for that practice, the more you can get done. We do not want to have these kind of practices. All right, hey, everybody up. Okay, let me see. So if we have you, okay, let's do hit and runs. Yeah, let's do hit and runs in this cage, and let's go you, right? All that right there sucked, okay? That's a lot of like high school, like the high school coach I played for, when I go to practices, and not everybody's doing it that way. It doesn't make them a bad coach, they just didn't know, but now you guys are all here, now you know, okay? Plan that before you even get to practice, okay? Even if you don't type it out, hand write it out, and put times on it and put people, because here's a couple of things. If you don't put people's names, then in the moment you've got to figure out how many do I have, how many per, and if you just let them go on their own, they're going to go with their buddies, probably not going to get as much done, right? I'm very careful who I put who in, right? And every once in a while I might put the buddy, but like, I'm not stupid, you know? Like, I'm not going to put these people together, okay? Or I'm going to put people together that are working the same thing. Maybe some of my girls that are just working on their extension, I'm going to put them together. My slappers, I put them together a lot of times. 1, it's easier for them to work together, and 2, if I'm pitching, I'd rather throw to all lefties than lefty righty, you know, kind of thing. So, but here's the thing. Sometimes this takes me an hour. Sometimes it takes me 20 minutes, okay? But every day, I do a practice plan, okay? So a couple of things. I don't ask my players to memorize it. I don't ask them to know where they're going all the time. What this does is it helps me and my other coaches know where they're going, plus the mental side. If you see what we're doing and you know we're throwing live at the end, and you know you also are going to be in a pressure drill at the end, you're psyched. You can kind of get ready for that. All right, getting live on it, you know? If you're the coach that does this, here's my practice plan. It's really long and really good, but... Okay, everybody up. Here's what we're doing next. And they're just clueless. There's no good in that. That doesn't help anybody, okay? Post it. I put mine on our group me before practice so they can see it. And what really helps, actually, because I have like 107 girls. Hey, coach, my name wasn't on here. Oh, good. So even before practice starts, I'm adding her in instead of in the moment, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you can't go off of that a little bit if something changes. There might be a drill where I'm like, we need to stay in this drill. We're going to stay in that drill, but at least you're prepared for what's come next. Because what we can't have is the standing around. Well, let me see. We hold this net. We do need tees. Hey, can somebody go grab the tees? No. Before the practice even starts, you got people knowing, okay, we need 3 plates here. We need, catchers need gear here. We're already getting that equipment ready and out. There's some practices that we have it set up. We have the second set of stations set up before we even start practice, okay? So the more detailed you guys can be, the better. What I like to do, I like to bold my girls' names. It's easier to see. I like to put times, and here's a tip. Don't just put 30 minutes, because then you got to do the math. You practice starting at 30 minutes into practice. Just put the time, put the actual times. Now, I will tell you, if this is new for you, it's going to take you a little bit of getting used to know how long a drill takes. But you'll start to learn, okay, this drill typically takes this long. These stations with 4 people usually take this long, kind of thing, okay? The nice thing on here, too, is you can put specific things. If you notice, I have, like, the counts on some of them. If you notice, there's some practice plans where I might say, hey, in between station, like this one, rotate within 10 seconds or 2 team burpees for everybody not started. You know what I mean? So it's like, they know the focus. It's not me saying it for the first time. They can read this over. Plus, the nice thing too is at the end, when I have announcements, the worst is when you gotta remember to tell the team they gotta get their jerseys. If they're in my trunk, you know, you forget. Oh, I forgot to tell them. That's what this is for. Write this down, okay? So I gave you the samples I gave you so that you guys can have everything. I gave you a hitting practice for cages. I gave you a field practice, and if you notice, I'm gonna talk about this drill here. So go to the one that says September 7th. So at 10 o'clock, we have front toss scrimmage. Okay, one of my favorite drills, and I use the word drill lightly because I don't really like the word drill because I want everything to be game-like. Because if you think it's a drill, Like for instance, this probably happens to you guys too. So say you're working on like a delay steal second to third. Your girls treat it like a drill. So when they get to third, they just keep running and they like get back in line. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they're working on it, and they just hit, and they're just like, oh, I'm done. Because it was a drill. So I hate drills because that needs to be game-like. I'm not saying you need to slide, but I'd be cool with it. But stop at third. You have a long time to get back in line. Like, people have to get in a hurry to get back in line. So let's make sure we're doing less drills and making everything game-like, okay? Because everything that you do in practice should translate into the game. But if you train their body, hey, this is a drill, short hop drill, this is a drill, then they're just going to be good at on their heels doing short hops. Well, should we really do short hops where they come through? I mean, have you ever going to feel a short hop and not do anything? No. You're always going to at least get here into the arm, get your slot, right? So if you could help me on this, let's really make sure we're preaching game like it's not a drill, that kind of thing. But again, maybe even have consequences. Every girl that overruns third, 10 push-ups as a team. Nobody's gonna overrun third. Get in their head the importance of every detail for that drill. Okay. All right. So front toss scrimmage. See that at 10 o'clock. Okay. So I put be a great competitor. Know what gets you points and why. All right, here's the thing. So in our sport, the team that wins is the team that hit home plate more, right? But we all know, we all agree, it's the little things that get us to this. It's the little things. And we preach the little things, okay? But are we practicing the importance of those? This drill practices the little things. So we'll always have one coach keeping score. And you can get points for all of these things, and you guys can change it up however you want. But for instance, you get a point per base. Then for hitting home, you get another 4. Why would I have more for home? I mean, this is important. This is this, right? So think about it. If we're in this game and you get a runner at third, you're going to, on a bunt, you might go 4 more than going 1 because that's 4 points, actually 5 because they hit home and then an additional 4, and that's 1 point. So it's the strategizing of what gets the other team points. Because hitting home is way more important than hitting first, right? So every base is a point. So like say if you guys you're up and this is front toss, right? So I'm the coach, I'm the pitcher, I'm front tossing, which what that does is it helps, there's gonna be less balls, which are gonna be walks. So we are promoting offense, which then promotes defense, because it's pretty much always in play. I don't think I've ever hit anybody strike out on front toss scrimmage. That would be sad. So there's not a lot of the time. So pretty much every ball's hit, every ball's fielded, and there's base running. Control. You guys know when you do a live scrimmage, that takes forever. It takes forever. Every pitcher has to take 5 pitches between every inning. Like it takes forever. Okay, every hitter takes. So this is just, hey, let's go. And the other thing, if you noticed, might not have been at the top there, it's on my Coach Welsh's favorite drills. So what I do instead of 9 on 9, like if this was our team here, I would do 3 teams of 5. That's what I would do. And so then there's 2 teams playing defense together, 1 team hitting. So we really have like a third of an inning. Does that make sense? So we have 3 outs, end of first inning. And a lot of times I'll do, losers have a sprint or whatever it is after each inning. So they really want to try to win that inning. Okay? So here's the thing. You can get points. You get points per base. You get 5 points for a stolen base. Okay? Points can be given for exceptional base running and defensive communication. Okay, here's the next one that's really big. You are safe if within 3 feet on a not a forced play, so an aggressive play. Why would I do that? What does that mean? So if you're out, you'd literally be out, but you're within 3 feet. I call you safe and you get all the points and you're not out. Why would I do that? What does that promote? Aggressiveness. Because how many kids don't go because I don't think I can make it. You give somebody 3 feet, and now again, not on a stolen base, not on a force out, on anything aggressive, they're going to chance it a little bit more. They're going to chance it a lot more. Okay? So that promotes aggressiveness. Now here's the other thing. -3 for not taking the base when you should have. So again, you can't have kids going, I'm not going to go. They're going. In this drill, they're going. Okay? And then they get points. They get points for exceptional communication, good defensive plays. It could be anything. If you're really working on backing up, give them points. So like when my catcher backs up the coach just in front toss scrimmage, give her a point. So I'm out there coaching or umpiring or pitching, which is really fun. And my coach that's keeping track, I might be like, hey, Brandy's team 1 point because she backed up. Hey, Sally's team 2 points because she, dove for that ball. So, coaches can give points at any time. So think about it. You hear your name, you get a point because you're going, hey, 2 outs, runner on 3, here, blah, blah, blah. Hey, runner on 3, that play at 4 is, we can, we're only up 1 point, we gotta get that out. Well, hey, 2 points for our team. Hey, now we're up 3, So it promotes all the little things that we want. But here, don't we just expect those things? We expect you to communicate. We expect you to back up. Can you guys imagine if we coached this game differently instead of expecting it, rewarded it, celebrated it? You know how much more fun that is? It's like you're supposed to clean your room, you're supposed to do this. But wouldn't it be nice when your parents were like, man, thank you, that was awesome, great job. But instead, the things that we expect, we never celebrate. I expect you to know that. It's not fun playing for a coach. I expect you to do that. It's like, no, let's celebrate. Let's celebrate the sack bunt. Let's celebrate the squeeze getting down. Let's celebrate the backing up. Let's celebrate the talking. Let's celebrate hitting your spot. Let's celebrate that. So you can really give points however you see fit, and you can take away points. So I used to do this. I used to give negative points for foul balls because it's front toss. I've actually changed that because then I had girls almost so worried about hitting a foul ball that it changed their, so I took that away. Sometimes I do negative for bobbles or bad throws, okay? So those are things you can do negative for. You can do negative for like not hustling, that kind of thing. So if you think about it, a kid who maybe isn't your best player can now get her team tons of points because of her work ethic, her communication, her passion, just her effectiveness, backing up, okay? The other nice thing about this drill is, so when you just start hitting pop-ups, because it's front toss, so it's easy for a girl just to kind of like be lazy. You pop out and fly out in this drill, your team is going to be rotating here pretty quickly, But man, if you can just see the ball well, we've had teams that are just like, they almost need oxygen. They're just like, okay, I'm up. Because think about it, it's only usually 4 on a team. So you're hitting and you're just staying. You're hitting and staying and you're hitting and staying. So it's a really fun way to work on everything while conditioning, getting better, doing all that stuff. Okay, are there any questions on front toss scrimmage? And the cool thing is it doesn't take that long. So I would say 1 full inning could take 20 minutes, 25, depending on how, obviously good a team is. Here's the other thing is what you guys need to do as coaches ahead of time. You need to determine the teams and where they're playing. And I didn't have a sample copy of that. But basically what I do is I draw on one piece of paper, I draw the field. And then I put 1, 2, 3 for every position. And then down here I put 1, 2, 3, and those are the teams and their batting order. Because you got to figure out who's playing where per third of an inning. Okay? So it might be like, okay, Kylie's playing short in the first inning, second in the second inning, and she's hitting the third inning. Not inning, third of the inning. Because there's 3 parts of it. So they need to know where they're going. It can't be, you can't make a decision in the middle of practice. You have to already have that sheet. I actually color code it so it's like everybody on red. They can find red up here. I try to make it as easy as possible. But do that ahead of time. And then try to make the teams balanced and fair. And the other thing is then you pick the batting order and stuff like that. Then you might have subs as well. But that drill, that will make it very game-like. You'll see aggressiveness. You'll teach aggressiveness through that. And you actually teach competitiveness. Because after you hear me say all that, don't you kind of want to play that? Like, I back up, I communicate, I dive. I'm going to get my team points, It's a lot more fun. And then the other thing it does is this. You could your team could have 7 triples in one game, but you still lose, which really stinks. This game promotes the little things, because the end result, as much as we want to win, don't get me wrong, we like winning, but really it's the little things that get that W, and these are promoting the little things, So your team may not have 1 home run, but you win because you did all the little things right, okay? So it promotes those little things, okay? Any questions on that? And if you notice too, I even have like notes. Hey, pitchers and catchers whose teams are not scrimmaging, warm up and get ready. So like put everything on there. Don't leave things off and then have to decide that in the moment, okay? So when you're doing a practice plan, put everybody on there. If somebody's injured, put on there. You're doing abs for 20 minutes and then you're doing this for 20 minutes. You know, if their right leg's injured, tell them to do single leg squats. If their hands are injured, tons of squats. If their legs are injured, push-ups. If core, you know. But don't just say, hey guys, when you're injured, make sure you're doing something. Put it on there. Tell them what they're doing, when, how long, right? And then I put a conditioning one on there, and that's another. It looks like another defensive one with just a bunch of different situations. Okay. All right. The next thing after the practice plans is like a big checklist. Go to that real quick. Okay. What that is, it's everything that I can think of. I do add stuff every year to it. So I print that out. I hang it in my office, and as I plan a practice, and once I do something on there, I check it off. Okay. And the goal is for an entire year to get through all of that stuff. All right? And I might even make notes, hey, do this again, do this more often, do this every day, whatever. But kind of a good checklist to make sure we're doing. Because again, you don't want something to come up in a game that you didn't prepare them for. Now, I have more time than all of you guys. So you might have to be more picky. High school coaches have even less time. Travel coaches, depending on how much you guys practice, you have more time than high school. I have the most time, okay? So I can get this picky, but definitely something you might want to go through there and say, man, we need to work on all these things. Like, didn't think about working on, think about this, pass ball defense. So say you got a runner on second and third, you guys are on defense, pass ball, pitcher knows the cover, the plate, right? What about an overthrow? Who's backing up? Have you practiced that? You don't need to practice it every day, but you got to practice that, right? Because you don't want an overthrow to the pitcher, the runner on second scoring because nobody backed up the pitcher. Okay? That could be the difference. And all you need to do is go over that once, maybe twice, for 10 minutes each. Okay? Okay? So that is just a list of everything that I do. Okay? I also included on there what to put on a skills video if you guys need that. I put our infield and outfield short hop series. We do that in practice sometimes. There's a bunch of pages on there that says each position. So I had an assistant coach a few years ago who had given me this. So the typed stuff is his. I added stuff in my handwriting. But just kind of nice to know what each position should be working on. I think a lot of you guys, your position, you just think, I got to work on these 4 plays. But there's actually a lot more than you could imagine. Things you need to be good at. So that's after the practice plan. So I basically put every position on there, pitchers and catchers as well. And then if you look after that, I have a chart. It's a whole bunch of little fields. Do you guys see that one? So it looks like this. So this is what I use to call pitches and to keep track. Now, what I wanted to do was give you a sample instead of trying to explain every single thing. If you flip it over, it's a sample of what mine looks like after a game. Okay? So here's one of my pet peeves. I am getting frustrated with coaches that call the pitches but don't take any notes. You're barely better than the catcher calling it then. You're just calling it because you know a little bit more. We call pitches because we have intel, we have insight, we have information, we have scouting reports, we check stats. I know that this girl doesn't strike out and she doesn't walk a lot. What does that mean? She doesn't strike out and she doesn't walk a lot. She's swinging pretty much at the first pitch. She's swinging, she's aggressive. So what am I not? I'm not going to throw her a pitch, you know what I mean? So I have all these notes that I'm taking, I know before the game starts. Then I have this chart. What did I throw her last time? What was the outcome? Did she swing? You don't know how many times, like here, way back in the box, slap her, or swings that first pitch. You guys do the same thing. I'm telling you, hitters, you guys when you were in college, we kind of did the same thing, right? We like the first pitch, or we didn't. We loved inside, or we didn't, right? We kind of had a MO, okay? Write those notes down. That's how I call pitches. I base it off my pitcher's strengths and the hitter's weaknesses. I put them together, put all that information together, and I write it down, okay? So what's frustrating me is these coaches calling pitches, and they're not writing a darn thing down. You might be calling that hitter's best pitch. You don't know where that hitter is in the box. You don't. Does that make sense? So if you're going to call the pitches, great. Make something out of it. Do it for a reason. Have a purpose. Okay? And the other thing is at the very bottom, you guys see that chart with all those numbers. So what that is my pitchers fill that out. So pre-game and before every inning, they fill out their confidence on their pitch. So for instance, 1 for us is a fastball. So this girl at that time, she was a 7.765. Okay, kind of went down because we didn't really call it a lot in that game. But look at like see if anything really changed drastically. Nothing changed drastically. Okay, but here's the thing. Sometimes we call pitches and we don't know how the pitcher's feeling. She may be getting a blister. She may not have confidence in it, but we just keep calling it. So you know what? She's a robot. We call a screwball. She throws a screwball. She doesn't like it. She doesn't think it's moving. She thinks it's going to get hit, but we call it. Okay. What this does is after the inning, me, the pitcher, and the catcher, we have a quick little powwow, and then I give the pitcher the chart, and she fills it out. But guess what? Now on her screwball, she can put a 2. So when I look at that, she's not into her screwball right now. Hey, so what's wrong? You don't like your screwball? Coach, I just don't feel good. Oh, okay, let's work the other side. We can have that conversation. Okay? So it's important if you're calling pitches to know how your pitcher's feeling. The other thing is I give my pitchers the green light to shake me off. I tell them, my call is a really good suggestion based on my intel, based on what I know, based on the game. But you can shake me off, and then we just talk about it after the half inning. Hey, you didn't like the screwball on that, why not? And then we can talk about it. She might say, oh, well, she was off the plate. Okay, good. But I might say, hey, but there was a runner on first, blah, blah, blah. Like, I have reasons too. So like a lot of times when there's runners on the left side, I like to keep the ball inside because I want a ball here. I don't want a ball to go away. So I've had girls like shake me off, and it's like, so sometimes I'll wait. But the nice thing is, once she shakes off enough time, what does the batter do? Calls time. Okay. Side note, the pitcher is flustered with the pitch calling. She keeps shaking off. By you calling time does what?
Help her.
It just helps her, right? If you just stay in, she's gonna get flustered. You basically just said, hey, take your time. Whatever pitch you want to throw, just let me know when you're ready. Right? Stay the heck in there and get a ball call. Get her flustered. Get her mad at her coach. Get her mad at the catcher. Do you think she's gonna throw that pitch with conviction after the 4th shake-off? No. She's frustrated. But you let her out by going time, right? But you gotta practice it. If you tell a girl you're never allowed to call time, you gotta stay in the box, they're not gonna be a successful hitter. Even if the pitcher's flustered, because they never practiced it before. So practice in a live situation, even maybe in the pressure situation, have your catcher and your pitcher shake off 5 pitches and get the hitter flustered and see what happens after that. I tell the girls, if you feel like you have to call time because you're off, call time. Just call time. I don't care if she gets on her page, call time. But if you can handle it, stay in. And I tell my girls, if she's shaking off, then just get another one of these in, right? We don't need to be here the whole time, Hey, she's not ready? No problem. I got the bat. I'm good. I'm ready whenever you are. I'm ready. You know what I'm saying? Well, we gotta teach that mentality. We gotta work on that, okay? So make sure you communicate with your pitchers on how they're feeling, the confidence in that pitch. Another thing, maybe you haven't thrown a changeup for a while, then you go to throw it and it's ineffective, and then she writes a 2 on it. You might say, hey, we're gonna need this pitch. Do me a favor, go throw a couple in the bullpen. Or you might just say, hey, we're gonna need this pitch. Do me a favor, your next half inning, throw change up fast. Like, because how many times pitchers do you just throw 5 pitches and they're all fastballs, and then your coach never calls a fastball? Like, you're not actually working on anything. Why not actually work on what you're gonna throw? You know what I mean? Like an infielder, they might work on a double play. They might work on something. Okay. So that's why I included that in there. Include some other charts for you guys too. All right, let's take a quick break on that, and we can see how that's doing.